Hey there, my name is Taylor. This is a recap of the Cat 4-5 Tuesday Night Crit. If you've seen any of my videos before, you'll know that this start looks a little different than normal. This time we're going clockwise around the track instead of counterclockwise, so this is a reverse course from normal. This is my first time doing the reverse course. They had actually done it 2 weeks ago, but I missed that race because I was sick. So this is my first time. Some of the field has done this before, but I think for many of them, it's like me where they hadn't done it before. So instead of turning left all day, we're turning right all day. This took a little bit of getting used to for me. It's weird to go through all the same corners that you know, but in the opposite direction. And I didn't know where attacks would come from during the race, or where people would be trying hard or where they'd be sitting up. For context, the wind is coming from the south, so right now it's from the left to the right, and the start-finish was moved from its normal place. So in addition to it being a reverse course, the start-finish is moved a little bit further toward the last corner, which means that there's this big start-finish straightaway, which is unusual. Normally on this course, we're turning and going uphill into the straightaway. This time around, into the finish. This time around, it's just a straightaway. And in front of me right now, that's my brother in the blue-green jersey. So he and I go out and do these races every week. He had done the reverse course 2 weeks ago, so this wasn't his first time on this setup. But I was trying to stick with him as much as I could. If you've watched any of my videos before, you probably know my strategy, which is pretend like I'm the weakest rider in the field, because I might be, and try to sit in the middle of the pack and stay sheltered from the wind. So that's what I'm trying to do here, and try not to go too hard on the first lap. But really enjoying this reverse course, getting me thinking about stuff. I like crit racing partly because it forces you to think about things while you're riding, rather than just like a time trial where you're hammering out watts as much as you can. If you'll notice, some of the riders on this lap have been a little squirrely. That's because the wind was pretty strong, and so it would catch people and kind of push them around a little bit. So that, coupled with the reverse direction of the course, made me feel a little hesitant to be riding super close to people. If you watched last week's video, you might understand why, but I didn't want to get chopped. Right here, I can see that guy almost went down because he wanted to get around this rider in front of him, and I was kind of unintentionally, I guess, boxing him in, but I was really eager not to crash, so I'm trying to give people more space than I might need to otherwise. But we're going into the wind right here, and I wanted to not try super hard to be working against the wind myself, so just kind of slot in and enjoy the draft and try to not get knocked over. Unfortunately for me, my strategy doesn't work for me very long, because this ride starts breaking up really quick. We're still only on lap 2 here, and already it's getting strung out and there's gaps forming, and I'm only doing around not even 300 watts here, but the wind is at our backs, and you can see how strung out the whole course, or the whole field is. I can't keep up, and as we round this corner and start to get a little bit of a crosswind, I'm trying to catch up to my brother in front of me so that he can tow me into the rest of the group, so I don't have to try super hard. So put in a little bit of a dig there so that I can catch up to him, and then he cuts over to the right there, and I get kind of stuck on the left side. And as I mentioned, I'm trying not to be super aggressive because I don't want to crash, but that split us up, which meant I'm eating more wind here than I wanted to, but not totally dropped yet. Definitely in the process of getting dropped, but not 100%. And then he goes around these guys, and I kind of linger behind them for a little bit too long, and then he's gone. And at this point, we're turning into the wind, so it's going to be super hard, if not impossible, for me to catch him. But this rider that I just passed there is going a little more slowly than I would like, so I go around him thinking, okay, this is an opportunity for me to try to bridge the gap. You can see I'm doing a lot of watts for me. And if I'm not able to bridge, then okay, that's fine, but at least I tried. And spoiler alert, not able to bridge. The front group definitely gets away from me here. And I say, okay, well, I'll just kind of chill out and recuperate. So I skipped ahead a bit because not too much interesting stuff had been happening. The guy that was in front of me just then and the guy behind me on the Bianchi, we were trading bulls for a little while, and then the two guys behind me right now. for some reason, at this point in the race, I decided they were going a little bit too slow for me, which in retrospect doesn't make a lot of sense. You can see we were doing laps of like 250, 255, which is more or less what I can do solo. So like doing that with a group of 2 or more is going to be in my benefit because I'm doing the same pace I would otherwise do and I'm working not as hard. But anyway, for whatever reason, I decide I want to drop them. So I put in a dig and notice that I get separation from them. So I'm thinking, great, I have put a gap into them and I can stay in front of them because I know what pace they're doing. And I'm not going to be in first place or anything like that, but maybe I'll be the first of the rest, best of the rest kind of situation. But what I didn't think about at the time is that there's 2 of them and there's only 1 of me, so even if they just trade poles and keep working about as hard as they were, I'm going to tire myself out and they're going to catch me. So not totally sure what I was thinking in the moment here, but it felt good to be able to make the break from them and like open up a gap, which isn't something that I'm normally able to do during a race. So maybe I was just trying to enjoy that feeling for a little bit, but wouldn't recommend. And no surprise here, you can see them in the rear view. They've caught me. I stayed out front for maybe 2 laps if you're being generous. And again, that felt good, I guess, to be able to do that, but obviously it didn't gain me anything in the end. You know, I'm still in the same place I was in before. I didn't pass anybody in the meantime, and they didn't have to work as hard as I was working, so in the end it was good for them. You can see that I did a 244 lap, which is the one where I dropped them, and then a 303 lap, which is when I was just cruising around by myself. So like I put in extra effort, I did a lap faster, and then I got way slower than when we were all riding together, which that's why they were able to catch me so easily. So not a successful breakaway, but still an interesting thing to try out and see how it went. But now I'm riding with these guys again. Alright, around this time we get lapped by the field, so we did pretty good staying off without getting lapped. You can see we're at lap 10 of 11, so like we almost made it to not get lapped for the whole race, but we get lapped here in the chicane, so this was a little dicey. We were passing a rider, we were being passed ourselves. We're in this corner where the front group is coming around super fast and like trying not to get squeezed out of any corners here, but worked out fine, no contact, nothing, but still, it'd be nice to finish a race without getting lapped one of these days. I'll get back to that. We're coming into the start-finish, just about to be on the last lap for us, and for some reason I decided to do this move where I come out from behind this guy I was drafting and put in a huge dig to try to drop the people behind me. 2 problems with this. 1, I've already tried to drop the people behind me in this race and it didn't work, and 2, turning into a headwind here, so that's a huge disadvantage for me because they can work together or just get in my draft and not have to deal with this wind. So put in an effort there for absolutely no reason. They caught me instantly, but I thought I was being sneaky trying to come out from behind that guy and go fast, but it didn't work.
Come on, sprint.
So the 4 of us are still riding together here. We're coming into the final start-finish, and I just put in this huge effort for me right here, over 600-700 watts, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can sprint all the way to that finish line. Turns out you can't. That finish line is really far away, and I sprinted way too early. This guy behind me took advantage of that, sat in my draft, and then rocketed around me, and I probably should have started sprinting around like this point, maybe. The other guy that I was riding with most of the time went out as well. I just completely blew myself up and really limped across the finish line here. I blew up above my max heart rate, just totally ridiculous. Don't sprint like that. Mistakes were made, but I had a good time and honestly just didn't know what to do in that sprint because I've never had that long of a sprint to get into before. Normally in the normal course it's not quite that set up that way. But this was super fun. I enjoyed doing the reverse course. It was a nice change of pace, and I hope they keep alternating week by week. I like that setup. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week, hopefully.